Righty, good morning. So, here this morning, I'm starting to make some little brackets to hold. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to put riv nuts in it or bolts. I'll probably put riv nuts, I'm not sure. But basically this piece here is going to be a little bracket that fits inside this. It comes in from the back, and then I will have bolts attached to it or riv nuts in it. I haven't decided yet. I think riv nuts would be easier, but basically I just drew a line across the top and the bottom of the chassis, and then I've come in a little bit. I'm going to fold this edge over and see if I can fit it in the chassis, and then mark the positions for the holes for the to put something through there anyway. I think riv nuts would probably be the easiest, but we'll just see how we get on. Probably what I'll end up doing is probably putting a clamp across it and then mark the holes, and then I can drill them and whatever. We'll go from there. We need to make two of them. But anyway, I'll start bending this edge over. At least then I'll see if I can get it in there. And then whatever. I just think it's going to be easier. It's going to make life so much easier pulling the thing apart at some point. And it's going to make my life easier putting it together. So I can put it together the way I want to put it together. So I can put that front balance and everything in before I put the fenders or the guards on. Means I can put them on later on. It means I can put the grill shell on with the centre brace. You know, I can leave the hood top off in the meantime, sort of type thing. But I can sort of fit all that stuff and get it situated. Obviously I can fit the hood tops on there if I really want to or whatever, but I can leave it all that shit off but still have the radiator and everything in there to work all that out. And then once we've got a few things worked out, then we can start putting the other stuff on. It just means I can just put some bolts in or some nuts on to hold everything on. I'm not fumbling around trying to hold shit out from underneath, and that also means that that's got to go on last, not first. You'd have all the fenders on before you can put the radiator on. I just think it's an awkward fucking way to be able to have to do it. I'd rather do it the other way around. So we'll get bending this. I'll come back to you when I've got bent and getting ready to fit it in the chassis to see if it fits. So once we've got one made and I'm happy with it, then I'll make another one. I made it out of that heavy plate, 2mm steel sheet metal plate. I think it'll just be stronger. So if I do put riv nuts in it, they're less likely to spin and pull out or whatever like that. I'll probably end up, if I do put riv nuts in it, they'll be 5/16 riv nuts, which should be, you know, same bolts. That's what this is. So, and I've got plenty of them. I think I need 8. I think that kit can come with 10, and I've already used 1. So yeah, I should have plenty. I should have enough left anyway. I'll have to order some more at some point. They're going to come in handy. But anyway, we'll start bending. Come back shortly. Righty, so I got that in there pretty quick. And my lines have worked out pretty well. I've got it pulled up, not 100% pulled up. It's totally tight, but it's in there. So I'll mark the holes. Mark the holes, and I'll drill them out with a stick drill and see where he's sitting. Make sure that they are where they need to be. And then we can work out what we need to take them out to. I'll just take them out one hole in the stick drill and then work out what we need to do to get riv nuts to fit. So, second time using those tools. I'm pretty sure that's what I'll do. I think the riv nuts will be just as easy as putting bolts through, if you know what I mean. So if I put bolts through, then I've got to probably have to put a tackle whale or something on the back, whereas the rivet nut, I can just squeeze it in there and it stays. So, and I've already got the 5/16 thing on there. You just have to go through them. Let's see, quarter. Too big, isn't it? Alright, so that's 5/16, 18. So there must be some flat. Must be some of these ones floating around here. Must be theirs as well. By the looks of it. I'll check the threads, obviously. Because I've only opened a couple packet, or one packet was already open. So it seems 6, and 5, and 4. 3. The only thing I can think that I'd use them for would be a computer. Maybe. They're pretty small. M3. 1024. 832. So yeah, it must be all my 5/16 ones. Just double check these hot. I'll turn you around. Right. Pretty sure that's what these are. Yeah. So I need 8 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, I need to get some more of these. These are going to come in bloody handy. I just think it's going to be the best way to do it. But yeah, we'll mark those, we'll get some holes drilled, make sure that they line up nice, and then we'll open it out to whatever we need to be. Righty, so I'll mark those holes, punch them out with the puller drill, put that piece back in there, clamp it in, obviously turn the wheel out of the road, put a drill bit that was close to the size of these holes and punch that through there just to make sure that they are lined up. So now I'll take them off and I'll open them up till I'll find a drill bit that's the right size for these, and then we'll open them out, and then I'll put the rivet nuts in, and then I'll give this thing a clean up. I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do to hold that in there, or whether, because it's curved, it's probably going to hold itself in there anyway. And if I just push it into place, and then once you'd actually put a couple of bolts in there, I don't think it's going to go anywhere, if you know what I mean. Once you get a couple of nuts or a couple of bolts in there, it's not going to move. And because it's curved, it's not as though it will slip forward or slip back or whatever. It's in there pretty tight. Once you give it a bit of a tap in with a hammer, it's in there pretty snug. So yeah, we'll just pull it out, we'll give it a clean up, make it look like it should be there. Put a bit of, flick a little bit of etch on it, and then use a bit of that rattle can gloss black or whatever, and give it a quick coat of black, or I might use the flat black, and yeah, give it a quick wee coat, and then obviously we'll make the other one at the same time. I've got the piece cut out, but I haven't done any more with it, if you know what I mean. So that's the other one there. So yeah, I just wanted to make one, make sure it was going to work, and then we'll make the other one. But yeah, it's not going to take much. Really, what I got to do now is find a drill bit to fit these, and we'll be good to go. Right, so I've just placed the rivet nuts in place. I just test fitted it back in there, make sure they lined up. So yeah, they're all pretty good. So now we'll put them in there. I might trim a bit off later, you know, re-profile a little bit. I'm not going to cut too much off, but I don't think that it needs all this on here. We might trim it back, you know, sort of, I don't know, a bit over 1/2 inch each side, sort of type thing. And then we can give it all final clean up and paint it. Yeah, and clean up and paint it. I don't really need to do too much more on here either. we'll kind of just leave it as it is. I might tidy it up a little bit, but I'll get around to finishing up. But I'll put all them in, do another quick wee test fit, get 4 bolts and wind them in there, just double check, make sure everything is lined up, and yeah, and then we'll trim her off and paint it, and we'll make another one. Righty. Put these in here. Having a couple of minor issues. I get this one here and I can't get the others in place. It's almost like this is just a little bit high, and it's just when these line up, it's holding that one in the wrong place. So I might just have to do a little bit of hammer work and see if we can hammer this over a little bit more to make things just fit a little bit better. I'm guessing. We'll get it to fit, because I don't really want to open those holes up anymore. Like, I could have put these in the chassis, but I don't really want to. Because at the end of the day, like, you could just put bolts back through from the other side and whatever, but I just thought this would be a nicer, simpler, faster way to do it when you're assembling and disassembling. Might just make life a little bit easier when it comes to working on it later on, if you know what I mean. We'll get this fitted. Righty, so I got the those inserts with the nuts painted. I got a couple of bolts in, and I'll just leave a couple of bolts in until we're obviously ready to put the fenders on. That just saves them from running away, just in case. Same on that side. So I lifted the motor, we'll slip the balance in, so that's basically ready to go. And then now I can put the radiator in, but I might do that tomorrow now. I've actually had a mate here from Australia for about an hour and a half-ish, I guess. I've kind of lost motivation, it's got freaking hot. So yeah, I'll get myself sorted in the morning, get everything sorted out that I need, because yeah, I think that's the bit for there. So I'll find the nut from there, that goes in there. So I'll get all these bits sorted and work out where they all are. So this actually makes quite a good table. So yeah, in the morning I'll sort out all those bits, and then we'll get it together. So basically just after I turned up after lunch, And I was a bit late getting back here. Yeah, my mate turned up. It's been a couple of years since he's been over. And, yeah, well, I guess it'd be almost that long. Anyway, so yeah, caught up from him with probably an hour and a half, I suppose. And, yeah, showed him around what we've been doing and whatever. And he does follow me on YouTube, but he just won't have a closer look. But yeah, I've kind of lost motivation now. I jacked the motor up, put that in, and it's so fucking hot, I just can't be bothered. But yeah, put that in tomorrow, and at least then I can start sorting everything out. Leave it semi-loose to put the sides in, because I can actually put the tops on first, and then we can slide the pins in for the other pieces later on. So I think I've polished. I've pretty much polished that stuff. I might just have to just double check it again. I just can't remember where we're at. Obviously it's got to be cleaned and whatever, but and then we can go through and work all the other little bits and pieces out. Chop the hoses to length and whatever. And I can get, yeah, can I, just trying to think. I'll have to have a look at those pieces there that go on there for the hold downs. Not sure whether I'm going to put them in before or after I put the fenders on. But yeah, we can at least button a lot of this stuff up. I can test hood sides, make sure that it's going to sit properly. Whatever, I can probably pull the pin out and take the neck out again until we finish mucking around with the motor or whatever. But yeah, it won't take long to put it together. And but at least now I can put it together in the easy way. I'm not having to do everything awkwardly, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we can work out our heights for that and make sure we didn't, just in case we have to space this up a little bit. Got some little rubber washers that I might put, may about have to put underneath. We'll see. But yeah, we're just about ready to go. It's about ready to go. Anyway, we'll attack again tomorrow. Hopefully it's a bit cooler and I feel a bit more motivated first thing. But we got those pieces made. If that's set in, that didn't take long to do, but it's in there, set in, ready to go. So we can sort of start dialing everything in. Anyway, catch you later on. Right, morning guys. So welcome back to NZ Maker Outlaw Kustoms. Yeah, well, I kind of don't know what to say this morning, mainly because I guess if you're an automotive fan, and you love cars and what they represent, especially old, new, whatever your passion is, motorsport or whatever, we're all connected somehow, doesn't matter whether it's hot rodding or whatever, boats, we've all got that connection somewhere, and just sometimes you hear some news. Yesterday when I got home, after working on this and whatever, come home and I just flicking through YouTube, just seeing what was happening, and I think through Instagram, and come across a clip there from can't remember who it was from, Motor Trend or something like that, and say that Ken Block had died. And I was just like, what the hell? I think if you're a motorsport or a car enthusiast of some description, if you don't know who he is, you've been fucking hiding underneath a rock. Absolute legend, basically. You couldn't put it any other way. There's only really a handful of people in this world that you could put in the category that he's in. Michael Schumacher would be one. I don't know, just lots of those sorts of guys that are just at extreme edge and level of what they do. You know, and he's not just a, you know, the rally driver, and you know, he'd done all sorts of things even early on in his life. You know, from what I understand, he only really started rally quite late in his life. Well, I wouldn't say late in his life, but you know what I mean, like he was quite old before he actually got into doing it. At the professional level, I guess, you know, he was in his mid-30s or early 30s. Now, whereas a lot of the young guys, you know, they're getting picked up at, you know, 18, 19, 20 years of age. You know, they're getting really recognised. But for some reason, he was, you know, didn't start rally driving until later on, you know, we got on further on in his life. But the shit that boy can do in a car, or could do in a car, you know, just phenomenal. You know, we've all seen the videos, those Gymkhana videos he's done, and all those sorts of videos. It's just, you know, when you hear that somebody like that has passed, you know, fortunately doing, well, I wouldn't say fortunately, but, you know, doing something that he loved, which was obviously riding snowmobiles and all sorts of things like that. Just, yeah, just hits home just how short life can be. I was 55, yeah, I'm 49 coming this year. He's the same age as my sister. She was born in 67. Brother was born in 69. You know, you just never know how long life is going to be. You know, I've lost a couple of close cousins. One cousin would have been about the same age as him now, but he died in like 95 or something like that. You know, I lost my cousin there earlier on last year, you know, midway through 2022, you know, a couple of years younger than me. You just never know how long you got, you know. You know, another person, you know, that's on his way out is my partner's brother. He's only in his early 40s. You just never know how long you got, and it just hits home. You know, I guess just live life to the fullest, don't look back, and just keep punching forward, you know, as hard as you can for as long as you can, and just hope you wake up the next day and you can carry on, you know what I mean? You know, might be heated today and gone tomorrow. So, anyway, I'm going to carry on here. I don't know how much many videos I'll make today. I think I'll just plod away here and listen to some music, I think. You know, I might bring you back for a couple of updates, but yeah, I don't know, it's good to freaking talk about it for a few minutes, but it's one of those things that just floors you, and you just, yeah, I know, it's just sad. You know, you just get a feel for his wife, and I think he had 3 kids, I think. You know, like the daughter that was right in amongst the getting into the rallying and that as well. I mean, I think he might have a couple of younger kids. I don't know whether they're sons or daughters or what, but I know, I'm pretty sure he had 3. Crazy stuff. You just never know, do you? You just never know when you're going to not be here. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll catch you later on, and I'll carry on here. Righty. So I thought I'd better do an update. It's been a slow day. It's not quite lunchtime, but we're getting there. So I've got this on, obviously got that balance on yesterday, and then put the bolts in the front of that. I haven't really done a lot. Been a little bit of farting around, just trying to get everything to square up. This is, yeah, it's not tight yet, and this is obviously isn't, hasn't got the sides on it, but I've just been getting in there, working it out. Obviously chopped this hose down. I haven't chopped that hose down yet, because I need to check, make sure. I can probably chop it down, wouldn't make much difference, but yeah, I'll put one of these packers underneath each side, because I need to sit the these pieces, which I actually still need to polish. Those bits, need to sit them on top. Of here, and just check that, you know, I can sit these other pieces on there. Just make sure that's the right height to get all that fitting properly. It's going to be a bit of mucking around for a couple of days, but then I'll also will need to start sorting out the rest of the wiring. So this is to the headlights, but I think I'm going to have to run it back to that switch and then run separate wires forward. So yeah, we'll just, I guess, just chipping away at it. Yeah. So my brain's doing 90 to the dozen, just thinking about life, I think, at the moment. Yeah. Just sometimes just those things like I talked about earlier with Ken Block, you know, and all the other people that cousin that I lost, you know, partway through last year, and then got a brother-in-law that's, you know, not far behind him, you know, and then, you know, you get people like that die too, and you just, yeah, just crazy. Makes you sit back and think for a while, and sometimes it's just what you got to do, you know. Just take it quiet for a day and let things run through your head, and you just keep plugging away slowly. I guess then, at the end of the day, you're slowly making progress. Well, that's what matters. Let me pull this tape off here. Probably should leave it on, but I might put some fresh tape on. It's just some vulnerable spots later. But man, that looks good. Everything else needs a bit of a clean up and a repolish, but I can do a lot of it by hand too. But yeah, so I've just been trying to get everything situated square. It took me a while to get those frickin' little nuts and washers up in there, because it's a prick of a little spot. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, just taking our time. Just your brain's just not right quite with it today, but I'm just chipping away slowly. I'm doing a lot of thinking. Unfortunately, just one of those times, I guess, you know. And for the amount of tributes and clips and bits and pieces I see all over the internet, like some Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, I think there's a lot of automotive guys out there and girls doing a lot of thinking. Right, morning guys. I actually forgot to do an update late yesterday. I'm in the midst of giving these a clean up and a polish up, because I started sanding these back before we sort of started on this, and we were sort of piecing together waiting on the bright work to come. So I can put these on before I put the fenders on, I think. I'm just giving these a clean up. I might give this a light buff shortly. I'm just going over it. So I might have to get one of those 3000 pads out. It just feels a bit gritty still. I was just doing a bit of hand polishing, think I could polish through it, but it's a bit gritty. But we'll get those on, and we'll work out some of these other final details, because I want to get the hood tops on at least, and then fit the sides to make sure the distances are right and it's not going to sit weird, just in case I have to lift this up with all this on. This is the wrong side, but you know, with that sitting down there, sitting up a little bit and whatever, I want to make sure I get the spacings right. So whether we have to lift that a little bit or not, I don't know. Because when I go so far, I can lift it with the crank start. So otherwise we'll have to lift the motor a little bit in front too. Just space it really slightly. to make sure I can get all that stuff fitted. It should fit because, you know, this is all the bits off the car, but yeah, it's just to make sure it does, everything does fit properly. Anyway, tear and polish and get these bits together, and we'll go from there. Because I haven't really, the radiator's sort of in properly, but I haven't got the hose clamps on the hoses because I just thought, well, if I have to take it off, to space it a little bit different, there's not much point putting these things on permanent until I know that everything fits, and then I can go around and tighten everything up 100%. Yeah, we'll carry on, and yeah, try and get a bit more of this together today. Alrighty, a little bit of an update. Kind of a lot of fiddling around today. Doesn't look like I've done much, but a lot of fiddling around. So I rebuffed the front of these because they were just overspray, unfortunately. So I gave them a very light wet sand with one of the 3000 pads and just really lightly buffed it. So I could put these on. I buffed them and to put the pull handles together. I've got to go through and tighten all the nuts when I get them. I think I've got them on. Yeah, no, I've got to get in here to get this one. I got the same problem on the other side. That's kind of in the road. I will get in there, but I might see if I can maybe get Mrs. or something to come down here and give me a hand with smaller hands. I can't get in there to get the nut in. No, I didn't get that one on either. And I might have see if she can get into to get this one. Either that I might have to put a bit of tape underneath the 10mm spanner and get in there and just screw it on with the washer sitting on top. But yeah, I've got them together. I had to do the same on this side, buff it. You can still see compound down here. I haven't polished it off properly. I just wanted to buff up here and just get it cleaned up. So that's kind of what all I've done today. Just mucked around with that. Again, just in one of those slow days, just, I don't know, everything just seems to be affecting me lately. I just struggling, just pottering along. Probably, I think the other big thing too is I haven't really ever had a big holiday or break or got away from everything in so long. I think it's kind of getting to me too, just with everything. Haven't been able to get away to clear my head properly. And it's kind of unfortunate because it just hasn't happened. At some point, I want to get away just for a few days. I'd love to just be me and the missus. Just get away for a few days and just spend a few days just doing nothing somewhere, relaxing, you know, by the, already done a duck shooting hut and just relax and listen to the ocean and the sea and whatever, and just, I don't know, read a book for a couple of days or something like that, you know what I mean? I don't know, just something, just to get away from everything else and not have to worry about too much and whatever, and hopefully that she doesn't want to run around all over the place. Just do enough to what we need to do, and then that's kind of it, you know what I mean, just sit back and relax. And I don't know whether to, not that I ever do much reading, but sometimes it's quite therapeutic. You know, if you can find a good book to read something about. But yeah, I don't know, like I feel I need to do something like that, but it's just, it's to get, I guess, to get the opportunity to do it and make sure it's worth doing. You know what I mean? Not running away with young fella and her boy and whatever and trying to go somewhere and whatever. Like, I'd like to just do it with me and her, just to kind of unwind, even if it's for 2 or 3 days. Would be nice. But at some point we need to do that. But yeah, because you just feel yourself getting burned out and worked up, and every little thing annoys you, and then, you know, you get silly things like what's happened over the last few days. It brings up other memories and raw stuff, and I don't know, you just, you know, you end up in a, feel like you're just going round in a circle really quickly. Like doing this stuff is good, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I've just been doing so much thinking, I'm just going slow. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. sometimes that's just what you got to do. I might have to trim those bit of rubber back there too. Just looking at that. But yeah, actually that one's not too bad. But yeah, it's nice to get it on back. But we're coming together slowly. We're getting there slowly. Getting there slowly. Getting there slowly. Anyway, I'll do a bit more and then I'll bugger off and come back again tomorrow. Right, morning folks. How you going? So, at the moment I'm trying to be a contortionist. Trying to get my arm in some of these shit places to get the nuts on. There's 2 or 3 on each side which are pretty easy, and then the other couple are just a pig. So the centre one on this, where those little handles for the the hold downs for the hood sides aren't, on the middle one it's got the little bump stop on it for the where the side comes down and hits it. I'd show you, but I might be able to point it down a little bit. Yeah, you can kind of see the edge of my finger there through the plug wires. Yeah, there. So I managed to get that one in by sort of contortion myself and then putting my hand in there. I managed to, after about the 15th attempt, get the washer and nut on there, and use the screwdriver to tighten, at least get it started. So the one I'm doing now is the one back here. You can't really see, but there's the pulley here for the handbrake cable that comes down from here and goes around there. Is right in front of it, and the steering box is right there as well. So I've got a tape on the back of the spinner or wrench, and I'm just sitting the spring washer on top. I'm having to pull the nut out. I've had a couple of goes at this, so I'm having to pull the nut or the bolt out and then sit this in here and maneuver it underneath and get it lined up, and then try and slip the bolt down there and try and get enough pressure down and up and just get it to start. But yeah, I'm not having a lot of success. If I put my finger in there, like, you can feel where you got to be, but you can't get in there. I'd have to take that pulley out, but then it wouldn't be very easy to get back in again because there's all this crap in there. That was one of the first things that went back in. I put that back in before I put, when I put the steering in without the motor in here, just because there's not much room now. And then by the time I get the cable in there and a few other bits and pieces, you never get it in and out. But yeah, I'll try again. So I'll get this thing in here. Just an absolute bitch to get in. Let's just try and get enough upward and downward pressure, because these bolts aren't terribly long. They're long enough, but like they're borderline, almost borderline, just with the few thicknesses they're going to go through. You can't really feel whether you're in the right place or not either. You know what I mean? You're kind of going by eyesight and then hoping that you're still in the right place once you drop the bolt in. I don't think it's not freaking catching. I have to have a feel and just see whether I've got. There's plenty of thread through there. I'll try and put a little weight in there. Should be enough. Should be enough. It feels like there's a good, 1/4 inch poking out. Should be enough. I'm hoping. Yeah, no. You might be just sitting too far down on that spinner. I might see if I can find something just to pop underneath it to help hold the nut up. nut up just a little bit and hold it up a wee bit more prouder. The biggest problem is you just don't want to wash it and fall off what you're trying to put it in there, but we'll see if we can find something. A little bit of tape off so I get it out. So we can find something small just to poke underneath there, just to help hold the nut up. Righty, so I've finally got them all tightened down. I eventually had to take the horn out of there. I just couldn't get it in there. I kept dropping the little lock washer, and eventually I worked out that it's just marginally too short to get it on. I even had one of those plastic clamps on over top holding the screw down to try and get it on there, but it was just a touch too short. Anyway, so I put that back in on after lunch because of my new computer monitors just turned up. So I might do a little video on that too and throw it up at some point. At this point I don't even know where I'm at with videos because just the last few days I've almost got one video edited, but I don't know, just this weird thing has been going on in my head the last few days. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's been I don't know. It's weird. I feel like things are changing for me in different ways. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm about to go have some lunch and play with this computer, and I'll come back and we'll carry on. Right, morning guys. So welcome back again, Monday. So I'm about to start putting hood sides on, or tops. So I've got these little strips, and then these like goes against the in between. This is like a little holder, I guess you would call it. I don't know. And then yeah, a whole heap of these. I probably really should get some little lock washers. I don't know. So I'll put a little dab of Loctite on them. Just trying to decide what I'm going to do there because I don't think I've got any lock washers, which is a bit of a dick move. I can always come back and put them on one at a time, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but yeah, I might have to go find something. So they'll just put a little dab of Loctite on them. So stay there. I just hate to see them rattle loose, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Because what else did I need? I don't really need anything else. Yeah. Yeah, biggest problem with putting Loctite in these, you would really fucking struggle to get the bastards off, I think. If you even needed to get them off. I'll put them on anyway, and we can always come back and put lock washers on them afterwards, or something like that. Not ideal, but I want to get them on. Get away, fly. So you'll get them on, and then we'll carry on. We'll slip the sides on. I think I've got all the handles on them. I think I've got the handles on both the side pieces. At least then we can test, make sure that shit works. The stuff. These, make sure that these clip on right. They should do, but you know, it's like everything. Yeah, we've had it together, but we didn't have all the bits and pieces at different times. They're all built for this car, so everything should work, if you know what I mean. But we'll find out, I guess. And then at some stage, we've actually got to get some little, I think there's little leather corners that go in the corners of the sides down here. They're like a little, almost like a little pocket piece. I think I'll have to have a quick look at the photos But I know there's like a little leather corner piece that goes on them. And whatever. So, still, there's lots of little fucking things to do. So, no one of these cars take forever to do because there's always just all these little funny pieces that you just forget about, if you know what I mean? Where you get through somewhere and you're looking at photos and you think, oh shit, yeah, I haven't got that and I haven't got this and that and whatever. So yeah, you get it 99% of the way there, but it's just all those last little 5%, 2% pieces that, yeah, you just have to pick away at. But anyway, we'll get a side on or top on and we'll go from there because I want to fit those pieces and then take them off again. I think I've said that a couple of times. Right, so here's problem number one. These here, unfortunately, don't lean back far enough. I repaired the bases because they were so worn out and flogged. I don't know whether maybe I can turn it around and get it a little bit further back than the other way, if you know what I mean. But even this one here, the handle struggles to go past, so I'm going to have to pull these apart and open this hole out and bring it back a little bit so these can lean back. So yeah, that's one thing I never had together. I never had these on those when we had it all together with the metalwork before we had it, because we didn't have all these. Well, I think we only had one of this, and we found other bits. Well, yeah, we found the other three, I think. And we had one because we figured out that was one, or we might have had two. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to go back and look through the 256 videos to find out. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to pull these apart, unfortunately. But it's not too bad. If I have to repaint these little pieces, it's not a biggie. Yeah, just open those slots out so these can drip back. But at least if I take these off now, I can still sit this down and see if it fits in with this. Just, I don't have to take anything off. I'm just going to do the screws, so that's not a biggie. So yeah, then we'll just have to pull those apart and just, I don't know, I have to get a little, almost need like a chainsaw file or something small to get in there to just bring it back. I don't even know if my die grinder's small enough. And just open those holes out and just give them a little bit of a slot so we can get a few degrees back to clear these. I wondered if it was going to be an issue, But, you know, that one there, these ones here maybe, yeah, I don't know. They probably need to just lean back, probably about that distance again, I think. That one there, yeah, so this one here really doesn't lean back at all. I've built them up too much. They were really ovaled out and worn out. They were just about pulling through, so I closed them back up and built it up and crowned them out and whatever, but I obviously just need to file it out a little bit, just get them to sweep back. We'll see if we might make a little, might get a wee bit of plate and just put it in the vise and have it so we can just screw it down onto something. I've actually got a couple of spare lines with a metal bases underneath, so we get them to thread in, and then we'll just might make a gauge to roughly what we want to lean him at. Might do that next. I might make up something that we can just sit flat and just draw it where we think we need to be, and then I can get them all the same. But yeah, apart from that, but yeah, because I can't sit the hood down, it's hitting these, so it's alright. It's one of those things you find out. It's not a biggie to repaint those bases. It's a bit of a pain, but that's not a huge problem. And if I'm careful, you know, I mightn't damage the paint much, and then might better just missed a little bit of gloss black spray can on them instead of whatever, you know what I mean? I'm not too stressed. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, we'll have to fix that. Righty, so I have screwed onto here. We'll put a hole behind it, and just started filing this out. Hopefully it just folds back this way a little bit. I don't know how much I'm going to have to do to get it to work, but I actually didn't think the files would fit in there, but obviously did. But hopefully it doesn't take too much to get the desired effect. Righty, I'm just looking at this with the side on. Yeah, I've got to get quite a bit of angle on those things because they've actually got to come out a long way back. It's come up to I think we're going to be right for obviously depth. Now we've got all the webbing and stuff in there. It's actually lifted these up quite nicely. I was worried about that originally, but I never had any webbing in there to pack everything up, but actually looks good. I'm happy with reasonably happy with the gaps. I'd like a little bit more here. Obviously we haven't got the other side on yet because we haven't finished playing with those bits, but I'm hoping we might actually loosen the bolts off on this a bit and just twist it a little. But apart from that, it looks good. Again, you have to be freaking careful of these things here. They're good, but when you lift the side back down, it's very easy to pull it down and leave that up. You have to get very mindful of that, because I just did it before. It's like, why isn't that pulling down? And I was like trying to push it down, and I realised it was just sitting up. So hopefully I haven't done any damage underneath here. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, very easy to be a bit overzealous and forget that's there and pull it down and damage your hood. That's pretty cool to see it like that. I haven't seen this all together with a decent front end on it, especially the grill. Yeah, I can't get back far enough because of the car, but yeah, can't wait to get this on. When we get the final look, apart from the canvas top and the upholstery. Sweet. But yeah, we'll carry it on. So yeah, I'm going to probably have to cut those back a bit. I'm actually, frick if I had it. If that wasn't so shit, I'd actually use that just to take a bit off them, if you know what I mean. Screw them onto a bit of wood and put them in the vise or whatever, and just nick a wee bit out of them. A couple of swipes, just so they roll back further. But yeah, I'll have to do a bit of filing, because these actually stick out a long way. That bump stop thing doing anything? I can't tell at this bit. We'll have to have a bit of a look when I have the phone in my hand and just get in there and have a wee nosy, a bit better nosy. But yeah, fuck, that's cool. Love it. Actually, it almost doesn't really, but you can almost do with some of the pinstriping on it too. But frick yeah. Another clean up in a bath, or a wax or something, just to really bring it up again, because it's dirty. Looks good, but it's dirty. Yeah, can't wait. Sweet. Almost done. Apart from wiring and getting it running, but yeah. Cool. Righty. So I've done some filing in here. I've got it back to close to that line if you turn it around the other way. Obviously I'm not drawing it. Sorry. But I'm back close to what that angle is. So I'm going to go sit this on the car and just see if it's clear past that hood frickin' handle piece. See if it'll fit on. At least then I know if I'm getting close to what that angle is on that piece of cardboard for the next one. We might be far away. So we look down here. Right, we're in there nice and close now. Here we look, so if I screw that on there, go past that. Fucking hell. Probably would. It's not quite far enough back yet, need a little bit more I think. Need just a touch more. Put screws in there, I bet you I can't get it off. I probably can, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm not going to get them in there like that, but it's too tight. But yeah, you're pulling this back. So here we're going to go a bit more yet. It's alright, at least we know we're close. Pretty tight on the piss at the moment, Jesus. It is so freaking hot. It's got really, really humid. Anyway, sorry about the wind noise from the fan, but I ain't standing here without it. We'll file some more. Might actually wallow out this hole a little bit underneath so I'm not banging into it with the file quite so much, maybe. Large it down before. Anyway, yeah, we'll carry on here. We'll get a bit more done. And yeah, we'll have one more go on this, and then I know we're going to have to go back to about what this angle is actually. See it that way. Good idea. Yeah. I'm past this, but not by much. But we need to go back a bit yet. You go back a bit yet. I don't think. Yeah, we'll keep filing. Take a bit more out of there yet. See if it's far enough. Better. Getting close, that's an angle. Wherever we hold it in the vehicle. So yeah, we've actually already got some lean on it now. I'll hold that there. Hopefully you can sort of see that we're a bit past it, where I drew the line. I think we need to be past it like that. So it's cool. Got a rough gauge now. So as long as we're leaning somewhere in this range, which wouldn't be far off, yeah, that wouldn't be far away, we're pretty good. I'll just go test this on now, just make sure we are right. But that's how far back I've had to take it to try and get it to clear over the handle so we can screw this down. So it'll actually clear over the handle when the sides come down to hook it back up. So yeah, because the handle sticks way up. Yeah. Otherwise it runs into here, if you know what I mean. You can't get it past because it's sitting too straight. So we'll go try that now. We'll go do a test, and if that's right, we'll do all the rest of the same. Right, let's see. I think we should be good. Yeah, I think we should be good. We should be able to lift this up, screw this on, and do a test. I like that little frickin' little thing. This little thing here works well. It's got that little paint saver, I guess you would call it, on here. It sits on here and just protects the paintwork, so it doesn't actually sit on this. You don't have to hold it or anything. So that's quite cool. You just got to remember to put it back down again. You bastard! Or bonnet, or whatever the fuck you want to call the thing. Fucking little saver down. Very tight though. Not very tight though. That's one thing I was afraid of. Built up. Think about that. These are quite worn, isn't he? Just looking at that, that one's worn anyway. So he's not quite so bad. Bugger. It's quite worn. Well, if there's one of them that feels like a bit might be a bit tighter, we might be able to swap the handle around. Yeah, that one there's quite worn in here. That notch, if you can see that. You probably can't see it, I'm freaking even looking at, can you? Yeah, this one here, didn't realise it's quite so worn. It's not ideal. Might to do something with it though. I might see if some of these are slightly shorter than the others. I think they're all about the same length, but you might be able to just Mickey Mouse it around a little bit. Maybe one of these others is a little bit slightly further in distance, and it might be just might hold it tight enough. We'll swap them around a little bit, or the heads around a little bit. We'll see. Or maybe we might be able to cut a little bit more thread down on one of these. Just shorten it a little bit, you know. Or, so I thought that would have been enough originally, you know, but I didn't realise it was quite so. I thought it was more out here, but it's not. It's quite tucked in. That base piece. Right, so I've got these all altered. Obviously, still haven't put that side on. I've actually got to finish polishing it and put the handles on. I just looked at it. Well, looked at it better. I haven't put these handles on and haven't polished it. I can't remember. Yeah, they're not on anyway. It is polished, but it's not finished. I must have started, and then when the Dodge come in, I stopped. Thinking, oh well, you know, I'll just carry on with it later on. So it needs, like, it looks dirty and it's sort of half polished, if you know what I mean, or repolished after I started cleaning up. So you can see where I've misted the paint back in and bits and pieces like that. That's dirty and shitty, so I've got to finish that and then put the handles on. Wherever they are, hopefully one of these boxes down there. So yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. It's just too freaking hot. Come back here in the morning when it's a bit cooler, and then we'll carry on. But I've got these sorted. I still haven't sorted out the looseness of this one, but I'll worry about that after I get that on. Then I can see what these other ones are like, and I might better just swap the head over on another one and see if it, you know, see if we can get it a bit tighter or something like that. You know, if it's somewhere and it's not rattling around, well, it'll be better. It's either that, or I maybe just shorten the tube a little bit, put a slice through the tube and weld it up and clean it up and whatever, and which is going to be a bitch, but I could do that. Even cut it at the bottom, you know, where the little bottom base is, cut it and just lift it up a little bit, you know, just shorten it by, you know, like a bee's dick, or two. You know, so it's just like, you know, the thickness for cutting just shorter or something. I could do that and just repaint it, which will just close everything up a little bit. We'll take that right away. Yeah, unfortunately, that one there is the one that was badly worn, and I never really looked at it. All the rest of them look to be okay, if you know what I mean. They're not, that one, I don't know, you know, it could have been off another, these are all off another car, so yeah, that's the only one that's really badly worn in. Yeah, that one there could have done twice the work that the rest done. But yeah, it's unfortunate I didn't pick it up and put a little bit of fill in there, a little bit of bronze or brass or something like that. I could have brazed it up and reshaped it or something, but I just completely forgot about it. I just cleaned them up and sent them away. Didn't think about how worn it was. But yeah, there's a few different ways around it. We can soon fix it without having to re-nickel it. It's not that thin that it'll break off, if you know what I mean. It's just, it's a bit worn in. It's unfortunate, but yeah, we can fix it. We can fix it if we have to. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not a major. It's not a major. It's only a little job. And to repaint it's not that biggie. It's not a biggie. I've got to repaint those little base bits yet anyway. But yeah, we'll let that other side finish polishing it up. Put the handles on and then slip that on tomorrow. And see if we can get these gaps a little better. I loosened this bolt off on this side and I just pulled it out a little at the bottom. It's not too bad, but I think what I might have to do once I get the other side on is loosen that bolt off and just just pull it around, push it in a little bit. And I think we mightn't be too bad because it's still got a bit of a gap here, you see. I think if I push this in, that'll naturally want to open this gap here a little bit anyway. We'll see, we might have to pull around with it, play around with it a little bit more with them both loose. Might have to loosen them both off just to get it to sit 100% where we want it, but it's not far away, if you know what I mean. It's not ideal. It'd be nice to come back a little bit, and we'll get it. It's one of those things that's, yeah, that was pretty twisted up too when I first started, but you wouldn't know now, but it's just needs a little tweaking here and there. A little tweaking. But yeah, we'll get it cleaned up and get her on, and then we won't go too much further than this until we get a few more electrical things buttoned up and actually get it wound over by its own battery and whatever, and then we'll bolt the fenders on, I think. Got some more in the gearbox and the diff and all those sorts of things. You know what, I'm going to get out of here because it's too freaking hot. Right, catch you later on.